Now, you guys know we have been covering the ballot initiatives that happened for 2022. We're covering the results. And tonight we're going to do Iowa and Idaho. These are very short. I think one of them, Iowa only has one, I believe. Yeah, Iowa only has one. So these are very short. So I'm going to do these tonight. And then I'm going to end with a video from Garland Nixon. There's something I want you to see that Garland Nixon said about the homelessness crisis in this country and all the billions of dollars that go out the door to the MIC. So we're going to end on that note tonight. All right, let's get going with Iowa. Iowa ballot initiatives. Iowa voters do not have the right to place their own initiatives on the ballot to pass and repeal state laws and amend the Iowa Constitution on their own. Voters only have the power to ratify into the Iowa Constitution what the legislature puts before them through what's called a legislative referred constitutional amendment, aka state legislative initiative. Iowa only had one ballot measure, and that was Iowa Amendment 1, the Right to Keep and Bear Arms Amendment. This passed by 65.17%. A yes vote supported adding a right to own and bear firearms to the Iowa Constitution and require strict scrutiny for any alleged violations of the right brought before a court. That was supported by State Representative Stephen Holt and the Iowa Firearms Coalition. There are several opponents, but I'll just list a few. Americans for Democratic Action, Iowa, Common Good, Iowa, Catholic Peace Ministry, Great Plains Action Society, etc. So there's a whole bunch of them there. So the right to bear arms, big one there for Iowa. Now let's boot scoot over to Idaho. Idaho, citizens of Idaho may only initiate legislation as a state statute. Idahoans may also repeal legislation via veto referendum, but cannot place constitutional amendments on the ballot via initiative. The Idaho state legislature, on the other hand, may place measures on the ballot as legislatively referred constitutional amendments. So let's go ahead and get into the measures for Idaho. Idaho advisory ballot income and corporate tax changes and funding for education question. That's a long one. A yes vote or an approved vote supported the passage of House Bill 1, which changes the income and corporate tax rates to one flat tax rate of 5.8%, provides a tax rebate equaling the greater of 10% of the taxes paid by a couple or individual in 2020, or $600 per joint filer, or $300 for an individual, and allocates $410 million to the state sales tax revenue, to the public school income fund, and in-demand careers fund. This passed again by 79.76%. Damn. What did approval of the advisory question mean? The advisory question was a provision of the House Bill 1 asking voters about their positions on tax changes and education funding enacted by the state legislature in HB 1. An advisory question is a type of ballot measure in which citizens vote on non-binding questions, therefore did not enact or repeal HB 1. It was designated to express approval or disapproval of HB 1. So that's interesting. This was an advisory question, but the measure was approved. So there's another, did I say, wasn't there a note? Yes, there was a note here from Roger Meadows that said, why did Luke withdraw the initiative? Prop 1 a progressive tax initiative, and HB1, a regressive tax initiative, are opposites, it seems. So let's see who approved this, who disapproved. How did House Bill 1 relate to Idaho Proposition 1, which was withdrawn from the 2022 ballot? This is important to note. Idaho Proposition 1 was a citizen-initiated measure that would have amended the state statute to increase the state income tax for individuals, trusts, and estates with incomes above $250K, and couples filing jointly with incomes above $500K to $6,000K plus 10.925%. It would have also increased the corporate income tax from 6% to 8%. It qualified for the 2022 ballot on July 22, 2022. After the passage of House Bill 1, Reclaim Idaho, sponsor of the initiative, announced that it was withdrawing the initiative from the ballot. Luke Mayville, the founder of Reclaim Idaho, said, "There are two ways a ballot initiative can win. One is by securing a majority vote at the ballot box. Another way is by forcing the legislature to do something they would never have otherwise done. By placing Proposition 1 on the ballot, the citizens of Idaho have forced the legislature to make the largest investment in Idaho public schools in a generation." What's wrong with making a large investment in education? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Here's the arguments. State Representative Heather Scott said, "I do not believe that our schools need another dime until we stop teaching critical race theory, until we remove the explicit sexual content from our libraries and the books in our libraries. I don't feel comfortable giving any more money." He makes this statement as if kids don't have access to the internet, as if kids have never seen like sexual content. There's no other way for them to see this information. That doesn't make any sense to me. State Representative Judy Boyle said this bill and this entire process is very disrespectful to our Constitution, to our voters, to our taxpayers, and to the incoming class of legislatures. We are telling them we do not trust them to make decisions, and we do not want to listen to their ideas on what they think about school funding. Very interesting. You know, one of the things that's always interesting to me is that the people who tend to want to ban like some of these books, and we have to hide sexual content, and kids shouldn't be able to see this, or their teenagers shouldn't be able to see this, or whatever. It's like, sometimes I wonder if some of those people who pretend to be so holier than thou, I think some of those people actually end up being some of the biggest freaks. Just a suggestion, something I've been thinking about. I think, there was a song called "The Freaks Come Out at Night." It was by Houdini. I really do think some of the people who really are so strict with like, whether it's like sexuality, sexual content, etc., even the whole CRT thing, I really do think some of these people in real life, in secret, are the freaks that come out at night. I don't know, man. I don't know. You can't be wrapped that tight. You just can't be wrapped too tight. Jeez, like, come on, man. Am I supposed to sit back and believe that none of these people have like ever smoked weed in their life, that they've never been introduced to these things at maybe that same age as well? My souls are like, really sit back and believe that, because I don't. Eccentricast says book banning has been America's pastime since the 1700s. Yeah, that was actually the subject matter in the movie Footloose. They were banning the books, man. I was like, what? People think Footloose is just about dancing. It's not. They banned the books and they were banning dancing. They didn't want people to dance in the town. Dancing is evil. It's sinful. Oh my God.